What's going on, guys? Today I've got a unique project I'm working on for one of my friends. We are actually taking his BMW M2 and trying to replicate the GP safety car that BMW did. So what we're doing is we are putting in a PA system in the front as well as a light bar on the roof. We've had to get pretty creative with this. As you can see, we've already taken off the front bumper. My camera was dead and we didn't want to sit around and wait for the batteries to charge up, but I'm going to try and catch you guys up as fast as I can as to what we've done so far. So basically, mostly what we've got going on here is we took off the front bumper, which when we reinstall the front bumper, I'll run through how to take off the front bumper on a BMW M2. Just it really wasn't that difficult. It's a few bolts and was surprisingly easy. Right now what we're working on is we have the PA speaker all wired up, and we're gonna be mounting it right here. We had to cut into this like plastic valance basically. We only cut a little bit because we're gonna mount it right here, and then we're just gonna have a unique little cutout for the speaker itself. We're gonna snake the wires, and then we have to get the wires into the cab. So what we're gonna do is there is a grommet down here we're gonna be using, and then the battery is actually in the trunk, so we're gonna have wires going everywhere, but we're gonna try and wrap it up and make it look good. But this is definitely going to be an interesting project with its own challenges. We'll keep you guys updated as we go. But like I said, right now we just got the bumper off. I'll run through that at the end of the video so that we don't skip too many steps. Alright, so right now this is where we're at. We've got the speaker for the PA system installed. The wiring actually snakes underneath here and up here, and then we went through a grommet which is down here. And I'll show you guys the inside of the car. So hopefully you can see where that comes out. What we had to do is we actually had to take off a little bit of the lower portion of the dash to get access to the grommet, but the grommet is up here. Then we have the wires snaked down all the way down here into the back seat, underneath the back seat, and into the trunk, which is now where we're going to be moving to make a bunch of our connections. And we also have the light bar partially installed right now. We're going to begin working on the wiring for that. Because this is sort of a special project, we had to fabricate brackets to hold the light bar in place, and what we're actually doing is we're using the roof rack mounting locations on the M2 to hold this thing in place.
All right, what's up, guys? This is not Trevor, but we're in Trevor's garage. So the speaker is mounted behind. We got the bumper all reinstalled. Just got a couple more things to finish up here. Finishing up these T30 Torxes on the front. Light bar is in place, but we do not have the nuts for this here. Trevor right now is extending the wires that are going to go to the front control panel that we're going to put in this area right here. We drilled out a little hole in there, so we're going to run the wires through and have it here for now. What we're thinking is in the future, we're going to ghost it into this panel. I'll bring you guys over there to check out what we did. Not the cleanest solution, but this already had a little hole in it, and this is kind of disguised under here when it's installed in the car. So we're going to snake the wire through here, maybe able to run it to the back of this so it'll sit nicely and won't be too obvious. Let's see. So we'll have that about there, and it should look good.
Alright guys, so as you can see, we have the front buttoned up here. The speaker is in place. It's tucked back behind the grill. The lights are working as of right now. Everything isn't permanently finished yet, but we're very close to being done. The wiring is going to run back along the roof because we don't want to drill through the roof of this car, obviously. And we're just going to run it along the side with some sticky tape and see how it holds up. And then we've got it going into the trunk. All of this wiring is done. We're powering the bar as well as we're powering the PA system. The wires are snaked up throughout the car everywhere, so you can't see any of them. And currently we're in the process of disassembling the dash slightly so that we can get the control box for the lights looking very clean, and it won't stand out that much. We pulled out a good chunk of the dash so that we could snake the wires down along the side, behind the center console, and up basically into the center console. So we're working on that, and hopefully next video will be everything completed, and we'll show you guys how it looks. Here we are, everything is wrapped up. We have the speaker in place, light is all done, fastened to the top of the roof. I'll just walk you guys through real quick an overview of everything we did, because I know traditionally I go into way more detail than I did in this video, but we were in a little bit of a time crunch. So what we did was we hooked up a speaker as well as light bar. The light bar is amber and white, in trying to recreate the Moto GP safety car from BMW. My friend's actually going to be wrapping this car and using it to advertise his company, which is Valvetronic Designs. It's an exhaust company. It's pretty cool. If you got a chance to check out what they're doing. So this was basically from start to finish sort of a custom job, because none of this was ever really meant to be on this car. What we had to do is we had to pull the whole front bumper off, which is very simple. If you just search a few videos how to remove M2 front bumper, there's 3 bolts here, and then you get the wheel liner back, and there's 3 more bolts up in there, which will loosen this up. You have to undo a bunch of bolts on the bottom to sort of unbolt the underbelly like plastic skirt, and then you remove a piece of rubber trim here, and there's some bolts that hold the top on, and then this whole thing comes off. And the important thing while you're doing that to remember is that you have to unplug the headlight washer fluid connections. So that's pretty much how you take off the front bumper. Inside, we were pulling trim left and right, to be honest, because we snaked the wires from the speaker in the front through the passenger side, through a grommet, and then we pulled all this trim so that we could snake the wires all the way back to the trunk, because we needed to connect them to the speaker power box, which we managed to stuff in right here. It fit in pretty well. All of our wiring is pretty much going on back here. We have power going to both the speaker box as well as power for the light bar, fuses on everything. But we did a very good job of trying to tuck the wires. So for the actual light bar itself, I mentioned this earlier, we had to custom fabricate brackets, and we're using the roof mount mounting location, as well as just basically we bent some brackets, and this is set up here. We got these 3M double-sided cable ties because we don't want to go through the roof in this car, obviously, and we're trying to do everything so that if it's ever, it can be taken off without a big deal. What we're gonna do here is we've got the cable ties coming back just because we want to run it into the trunk. And we did quick connectors in the trunk here, basically, so when he does go to the track, he can disconnect the bar and it won't be in the way. Moving towards how we actually set up the controls for the light bar and for the speaker. So we had to pull out a good portion of the center console. And I'm not going to go into how we did that here, but if you search center console removal for an M2, you'll find a lot of pretty good videos. That was how we figured out how to do it. Honestly, we just played around and got it out. This is the controller for the PA system, and we've got the wires coming out right here. And then for the light bar, we used double-sided sticky tape up here to sort of stick it up. And what we did was we were able to remove this sort of like ashtray area, and we have the wires coming out of a square hole that was actually already there, so we didn't have to drill anything. Originally we thought we were going to have the wires come out here after drilling a little hole there, but no one will ever notice that it was there, and this worked out pretty well. So I'll show you guys. This will be with the light bar on. Right now it's in a traffic advisor type pattern. I'll try and get it to something better. Let's see. But overall, I'm very happy with how this came out. We didn't really hit any major setbacks, which we figured we would run into more problems than we did when it was happening. So we have front, rear, alley lights, as well as takedowns. This isn't not like any special light bars from eBay or Amazon, not really any specific brand, to be honest, but it gets the job done and it looks pretty darn sweet. I'm very happy with how this came out. Once the car is wrapped, like I mentioned, I think it's going to look sweet. But overall, very, very happy with how this worked out. If you guys have any questions, because like I said, I didn't go into super details about how we did all the steps of this. That's just sort of a general overview. But please comment. I will try my best to respond and answer